WP CLI or WordPress command line interface provides a command line interface for WordPress, simple as that. It allows admins to quickly perform actions on the WordPress installation straight from the command line. It's also very easy to perform some bad jobs. It may not make you look cool like Sudhar Muthu, but Sudhar Muthu is here to tell us how to work effectively in WPCLI and in what cases WPCLI is your friend. Sudhar, we are all ears.
Hello everyone, my name is Sudhar and I'm a WordPress plugin developer. I work as a lead web engineer at TurnUp, a WordPress design agency. And today we are going to be talking about WPCLI. So I'm going to give you a quick preview about WPCLI and also the common use cases where you will be able to make use of it. Okay, so let's just get started. So what is WPCLI? So WPCLI is basically provides a command line interface to WordPress. What do I mean by command line is basically you will be able to interact with your WordPress install from command line by just entering commands. Okay, and basically like all the operations that you can perform in WP admin, those operations can be performed directly from the command line. So this will be useful for power users, or maybe like you want to automate certain things, then you can put all these commands in a shell script and then you'll be able to run it automatically without a user like entering those commands. So that is like the basic interface, basic reason why you would need WPCLI. And today we will see a quick preview about it. Okay. And as I said, it's a quick preview, so I'm not going to be showing about like how you can install WPCLI in your install on your servers and things like that. So you can like basically check the developer documentation. It's pretty simple to install WPCLI. So once you install WPCLI, you will be able to interact with your WordPress install. And let's just get started. So as I said, it provides WPCLI provides a command line interface, right? So with that command line interface, you will be able to interact with the entities that are present in WordPress. So the common entities that are present in WordPress, like post, users, comments, plugins, themes, metas, cron, like all those things, you will be able to interact with it. And what type of interactions? You will be able to perform CRUD operations. So CRUD basically means create, read, delete, update, list, those kind of. I think I messed up the acronym CRUD. So create, read, update, and delete. So all those operations you'll be able to perform using WPCLI. Okay, so let's just see a quick demo of how it works. So I'm going to switch to my terminal. What I've done is basically in my local, I have installed a fresh WordPress install, and I've installed it using Docker. So I'm just like logged into Docker, and this is the install that I was talking about. So we can quickly just look around. It's just a fresh installed. Okay, so just get started. What I'm going to be doing now is like the first operation that I'm going to do is basically see what are all the posts that are available in my WordPress install. So the command that you have to use is WP followed by whatever entity on which you want to act upon. So in this case, we want to act upon the post entity, and what operation we want to do? We want to list them. Okay, so when I do that, what WPCLI is going to do is basically go and talk to my WordPress install and retrieve all the information from there. Okay, so I've asked it to list all the posts. Now it has gone, retrieved the post, and then listed them here. Let's quickly verify if that is correct. So if I go here and post, I see one post here and it's getting listed here. So let's quickly verify if if it's working properly by creating a test post. Okay, so let's say test post from WP admin, right? Okay, let's publish this. And if I view it in WP admin, I'm able to see these two posts. Let's quickly verify if WPCLI is also able to retrieve them. And yes, so WPCLI is also able to retrieve those two posts. Okay, so similarly, we will be able to see other entities. So what are the other entities? We can quickly see the list of users, the list of comments on this WordPress install, and maybe the list of plugins that are installed. And you can also probably see the list of themes that are installed. Yeah, so we are able to see all the, and for plugins and themes, it actually, in addition to just listing them, it also tells you, like, what is the version that's been installed, and if there is an update available, and what is the status, whether it is currently active or not, like all those kind of additional information as well. Okay, now let's quickly go back to the slide. So these are the entities, and I've talked about the list operation or the read operation, right? So in addition to doing read operation, I said we will be able to perform CRUD operations, right? So basically create, update, delete, and things like that. So let's now move on to the create operation. Let's see how we can create one of these entities using WP CLI. Okay, now let's say we want to do post, right? So we started with the post. So WP post, and what I want to do, I want to create a new post. So I said, okay, WP post create. And now what I have to do is basically provide all the details for creating a post. And what are all the details that you will need for creating a post, like title, post content, maybe excerpt, post author, those kind of things. So there are multiple ways by which we can do. One is like, we can keep up and keep giving all the details like this, like let's say hello from CLI, and post content should be post content, and let's say post excerpt is an excerpt. Okay, and let's see if it creates it. Yes, now the post is created. So we can again quickly verify this by going and looking in the WP admin. Yes, so it's created as a draft because we didn't specify what should be the post status. So if we had said, post status should be published, then it would have been published. So this is one way by which we can do, basically, like, list all the details. But kind of becomes messy if we have the post content and other things, right? Because it would be multi-line and it becomes difficult to enter it here. So in those cases, what you can do is WP CLI also allows us to specify all these fields in a text file and then give that text file as an input to this command. Let's just see if that. Okay, so yeah, by default you have to give all these posts. There is also another command called help, which basically allows us to identify or read the documentation for these commands. So I'm going to just say WP help post create. Okay, so yeah, these are all the fields that you can specify, and it will also give you some examples, like WP post create, post type. You can also specify the post type, post title, post status, those kind of things. As I said, like you can also specify the content in a text file, and then WordPress, and then WP CLI will be able to use that. You can also yeah, there is also one more option. This is pretty neat, and I really like it, which is prompt. So in case if you don't remember all the different fields, right? And so what you can do, you can just say prompt. Now what WP CLI is going to do is basically going to prompt you for all the information. So there are going to be 30 fields. So the first one is like, who should be the post author. So say admin, and post date. I can leave some of these things as empty. In those cases, like the default value would be taken. So post date, it will just take the current time. So this is post content. I can leave this empty. Post title should be hello from WP CLI using prompt. Post excerpt, let's just say I'm lazy, so I'm going to just say post excerpt. Post status should be publish. Post type is post. Yeah, we can leave all the other things to be the default values. There's going to be a lot of enter that I have to press now. Yeah, so you can also specify post category tags, like if you have a custom taxonomy, you can specify them as well. Okay, and now say yes. So it has created the post. Let's just quickly go and verify if the post got created properly. Yeah, there we go. So we have this post, hello from WP CLI is in prompt. And if we click at the try to edit it. I think we should be able to see the content and the excerpt, post excerpt, and all those things. All right, so this is pretty cool. So we have seen list operation, which is read create operation. Let's now see about deleting things, right? Let's say I'm going to go back to listing all the posts that I have. And now what I'm going to be doing is basically, let's say I don't want this test post that I created. Okay, in that case, I'm going to say WP post delete and the post ID. The post ID is 263. Okay, and when I do that, WP CLI is going to go and delete the post for me. So if I quickly see here, that post has been deleted. Okay, and similarly, we can perform these operations on other entities as well. We had plugins, right? Let's quickly see if there is a way by which we can create a plugin. I mean, in this case, like install a new plugin, right? So that's a create operation for plugins. So let's just add a new plugin. In this case, let me quickly confirm if it's add or install. So it should be install, like I think, yeah. So install Jetpack. So we're going to be go download Jetpack and then install it. So what WP-CLI now doing is basically going downloading the Jetpack. It has verified that it's a same zip file. Now it's unpacking it, and then it will install it. So now it's installing the plugin, and it should be done. And meanwhile, I'll also tell you like why it's actually, I mean, interesting to use WP CLI, right? So one use case is like, obviously you can perform all these operations from the web UI, but let's say you have to install 10 plugins. In the UI, you can only install each plugin. So there's going to be like a lot of clicks. But in this case, what you can do is just specify the list of plugins separated by space, and WP CLI is just going to go and install all of them. Okay, now let's see if Jetpack is installed. Yeah, so yeah, Jetpack is installed. I'm actually getting some warnings. I think it has to do something with my Docker. So let's just ignore that for now. But you can see that Jetpack is installed, but it's inactive. So let's say I want to activate it. So what do? We just say activate Jetpack. Now WP CLI would be able to activate Jetpack. Let's quickly verify if that's the case by going to WP admin. Yes, Jetpack has been installed and it's been activated. Now let's deactivate. And it should be deactivated. And you can also verify that. Okay, let's move on. Right, as I said, we can perform the CRUD operations on all the entities that are there in WordPress. Okay, now let's move on to what are the other things that we can do with WP CLI. Now this is where it gets really interesting, and as a power user, it would give you like a lot of additional powers. So one of the interesting thing is like how in Unix, like we can keep on chaining commands, right? So when I say chaining commands, it basically means that you can get the output of one command and give it as an input to the another command. So like similarly, you can keep on chaining multiple commands together. So in Unix world, it's called piping, and WP CLI also provides the same way. So that is where you get the real power of it. Okay, so let's quickly check what is happening here, right? So let's say I want to delete all the pages. Now, when we saw that for WP post delete command, we have to give the ID of the post that needs to be deleted. But let's say if I want to delete all the pages, it's going to become a little tricky for me to copy all the IDs and then give it to the command, right? So instead of doing that, what I can do is basically use the WP post list command, and I'm going to say list all the pages and give me in the format of IDs. Okay, let's just run this command alone to see how it works. Okay. I'm going to clear my screen. So WP post list, post type is equal to page, and format equal to IDs. So now when I do, what this is going to do is basically, let's remove the format and I'll show you what happens. So if I do this, it's going to give it to me in a nice table format, right? And this is very good for viewing it. As a human, if I want to consume this information, this is very important for me. This is very easy for me to view it. But if I'm going to be using the output of this command as an input to another command, I don't want to parse the table, get only the IDs, right? So in those cases, what I can do is add this additional parameter which says format equal to IDs. In that case, what it is going to do is basically list only the IDs here. So you can see here, right? Just before the command prompt, 3 and 2. Those are the IDs that have been listed, given back to me. Okay. Now I can chain this output to my another command. So let's say wp post delete, and I'm going to chain the output of whatever I have in this command to that. Right. So I'm going to say this. Now this is very similar to subqueries in SQL, right? Where you run one command, get the output, and give it as an input to the other command. Now let's run this. And now what's going to happen is basically like those two posts, right? The post ID 3 and 2 have been successfully trashed. So using this mechanism, you'll actually be able to chain multiple commands together. So let's say you want to delete all posts that have a particular metadata and those kind of things, right? So first what you will do, you will see if that meta is present, and then use that as an input to a post list to say, give me all posts that have this post meta ID. And now when you will get all the posts, you can again give it to post delete or post edit or something like that, and then delete all the posts that have this particular metadata. So similarly, you will be able to chain in multiple commands. So that's when the real power of WP-CLI is that's when you're going to be using the real power of WP-CLI. And also this can be automated. This can be put in a shell script and then run as a cron job, like all those kind of fun things you'll be able to do. Okay. Now moving on to the slide. So this is another command that I have right here, right? Where basically, let's say you want to delete all the spam comments. So what you do, you basically use the comment list command to list all the comments which have the status as spam, and then I want it to be formatted as IDs. And then the output of this, I'm going to give to the comment delete command. So that way it's going to delete all the comment that are spam. Okay, so here are some cool things that you can try with WP-CLI. One is like, obviously, if you have WP config constants, right? So all the constants that are specifying in WP config, you'll actually be able to edit them directly from here without opening the WP config file. Let's quickly check how that thing works. Okay, I'm going to clear my screen again. Let's say WP config. In case if you're not sure what are all the commands that are available, you can just say WP config and WP-CLI will automatically list all the commands for you. In this case, what we want to do is basically get, right? So I want to see what is the table prefix. So get table prefix. So WP underscore is the prefix that I have. And I want to quickly check if I have enabled WP debug here or not. Okay. Let's say, yeah, so I have enabled WP debug, and I want to set WP debug to false now. What I do, I just use the set command, and then I give the option and then the value. So let's say I want to say false. Okay, now WP debug has been set to false. Let's see if that is the case here. Yes, that's the case. And we can also quickly verify by seeing the WP config file. Okay, I'm inside the WP content directory. So if I cat WP config.php, so here's the table prefix, but also let's see, here's the WP debug, right? So now that's been set to false. So similarly, you'll be able to use WP-CLI to interact with the WP config file. So you can set any constants or options and things like that. Read, set, do all the CRUD operations here. Okay. Now let's clear the console again and go back to the slides. Another, this is one of my very favorite aspect, which is the WP shell. What does WP shell mean? Okay, basically, when I say WP shell, it's actually going to open a shell for me with WordPress being loaded. What this allows me to do is basically I can run WordPress code snippets, actual PHP code snippets, not just PHP, with WordPress being loaded, and I can quickly test my code. For example, let's say that I want to test how the abs int function works in WordPress. Okay, let's say var abs int. So basically, this function is going to convert a string into the integer as an absolute integer, right? So let's say 22 some string, and okay, sorry, I made a typo. It should be abs int, not the other way around. Okay, now that variable is there. So let's say echo variable. That's 22 because it's converted this, right? Maybe we can do something more. Let's say I want to set an int var to, let's say, minus 23 or something like that. Okay, echo int var, it's minus 23. And what happens if I call the AWS int function on this variable? Now I can see that the variable has been, the value has been changed to 23, right? So this is very useful, and I use this a lot of times. Basically, like, if you have, if you want to quickly check out a code snippet, right, and you want to see how it would actually work, or you want to quickly verify or validate a particular function or a snippet of code, you'll be able to use WP shell. And it's pretty powerful because you can enter any PHP code, and the main advantage is like you would have the entire WordPress loaded on top of inside that shell, so you'll be able to use all the WP CLI commands. Okay, let's clear the console. Let's go back to the slide. Right, so the next cool thing that we can do is search replace across all tables. So basically, let's say that you want to replace a specific term with another term across all the post content, right? Let's say that company is renaming, or like, the name of a company is changed, and now we want to go to all the post and then replace the name of the company. So in those cases, it becomes extremely difficult for you to do it with normal. I mean, like, you can't go to all the posts and edit them, right? So in those cases, it would be useful for you to use a search replace functionality, which will actually allow you to change a particular string across all the tables in WordPress. A common use case would be like, another common use case would be like, let's say you're downloading your DB from prod, and you want to now replace it, or you want to set it up in your local. And now when you're going to be doing that, you need to make sure that the production URL is changed to your local URL, right? So in those cases, you can actually use search replace. Again, going back to the terminal, search replace is very simple. All you need to do is like WP search replace, and then you can say from, and then to. And so all instances of from will be replaced with to. So there is also another option of flag which called dry run. What this does is, like, instead of actually replacing it, it's actually going to tell you like how many replacements can be made. So in this case, it has gone ahead and searched all the tables and found that we are using one instance, or there's one row in the WP comments table on the WP on the comment underscore content column. There is this one replacement can be made, and and similarly, like, in WP post, in post content, there are 4 rows and things like that. Okay, and now when you run it without the dry run flag, it will actually make the change. Okay, so yeah, similarly, like, you can use WP CLI to update WordPress itself. So there is a core entity, and it has a couple of sub commands, like, WP core update. You can specify a specific version like 5.6.1, or if you don't specify the version, it will update to the latest version of WordPress. And similarly, you can also find out what is the current version of WordPress that I'm running, WP core version. So it will give you the version of a version that's currently running. And you can also use this to convert a single install to a multi-site install and things like that. Like, you can use a multi-site convert to actually convert for single site into a multi-site and things like that. So there are also other options which you can check out. And moving on, like you can also clear cache. So there is a cache command, so you can clear cache, get cache, do all those things. For clearing cache, you might be using the flush command, which will flush all caches. So this would be useful, especially if you make a lot of content changes, or you have changed your permalink and things like that, and you want both the page cache as well as the PHP in cache to be changed. In those cases, you would be able to use this. Okay. And similarly, you can handle all cron events. There is a WP cron, so you can check that and figure out all the subcommands and then use it. Another thing is like regenerating thumbnails. So regenerating thumbnails will be useful when you add a new image size to your theme. Basically, whenever you upload an image to WordPress will try to convert or create different thumbnails for that image based on the different image sizes that are specified in your theme. And in case if you add a new image size to your theme, by default, only the new images that are going to be uploaded will be converted to that image size. If you already have some existing images, then what you need to do is basically, regenerate all the thumbnails. And for that, WP CLI has a command called WP Media Regenerate, which you can use to regenerate all thumbnails. Okay. And you can also, like for WP Media Regenerate, there is also a flag called only missing. If you do that, it will only regenerate thumbnails which are missing and not touch the ones which are already there. And also, like you can try to export or import DB using WP CLI. So there is a entity called WPDB, like the core command, and it has a lot of subcommands, like import, export. You can even query, repair a DB, and do like all sort of things. Okay. Now moving on, these are some very useful snippets that I personally use. So you can also try it out. So there is this snippet which you can use to find out the size of different tables. Let's say WPDB tables, WP table size tables. It will list out what is the size or how much storage is like each table is taking up and things like that. In case if you want to reset a password for a specific user, you can use the snippet WP user update, and you can specify either an email address, a user login, or the user ID, and then hyphen user pass equal to password, whatever password that you want to use. You can also quickly generate dummy content. So this will be useful, like let's say you're creating a site and you want to quickly preview a theme and things like that, right? What you can do is WP post generate count equal to 10. So this will generate 10 different posts for me. If I list, you can see the different posts that it got created. Okay. And another very interesting thing that you can do is you can actually scaffold new themes or new plugins. So if you're a developer and you want to quickly create a new theme or new plugin, right? Or whenever you're going to do that, you have to do like a basic setup, create a directory, create a plugin, and then have the plugin comment and things like that. So those things can be automated very easily using Scaffold. For example, if I say WP Scaffold plugin, and name of my plugin is my plugin, what it will do is like it will generate a new plugin file. It has even generated the test files for that. So if you go to WP content plugins, you will see my plugin directory, and inside that you can see all the files. Like you will have the main plugin file, a package .json PHP unit, even test sample. I mean, it has even generated sample test cases. All these things would be very useful if you're getting like if you have to create a new plugin or theme and follow all the WordPress conventions. Another quick thing that I personally like is scaffolding new post types and taxonomies. Let's say that you want to create a new custom post type or taxonomy in your install. Basically, you have to write code that calls the register taxonomy or register post type command, right? But what WP CLI can do is basically scaffold those things for you. Okay, so here I have an example where I'm scaffolding a post type and a taxonomy, and I'm also specifying that it has to be done inside a theme. Okay, let's quickly run this command to see what it generates. Scaffold post type event and theme is equal to 2020. Now what it is going to do is basically generate a new file for me inside the 2020 theme, that I specified. Let's see what is there in that. Themes 2020. Let's cd into that directory. You can see that it has created a taxonomy, post type file, and then inside that it has generated basically had a init hook, and then call the register post type function, followed by all the things that are needed to change the updated message. It has also hooked into the post update message. So similarly, you can even generate one for taxonomies. I've given a code here. So in this case, it will create a new taxonomy, and the code that is used for registering a taxonomy. Okay. Another very interesting thing is you can run commands on a remote server. So for now, you can see that I've been running all my commands locally, right? So this is inside the Docker. So if I exit the Docker, this is my local install. But what I can do is I can actually run command on my server. So this is I have mapped this to my personal blog, which is at sudarmuthu.com. Now, what this is going to do is basically go and retrieve the post from my server and then display them here. Now it's actually making a network call. That's why it's slow. And now you can see it is listing all the posts from my personal blog. You can see that I published my first post on 2004. It's been really long time. Okay, so for this thing to work, all you need to do is basically give out a mapping for WP CLI. So there is a config file which you can store in your home directory, where you need to specify what are the aliases that you're going to use and what is going to be the SSH. This is again a SSH shortcut which I have in my config file, and the directory where it is stored. Okay, once you have configured that, you'll be able to actually use the alias to run remote commands on your server. All right, I think this brings us to the end. I'm hoping that you actually were able to learn some useful commands which you'll be able to use in your daily workflow. In case if you have a specific snippet that you want to share, do share. I have my Twitter link, which is at sudarmuthu.com. Thank you for watching.